Levac and Goz here with you on 104.5 The Team, and joining us now, thanks to East Fire and Water Restoration, Buster Olney joins us here on the phone lines. And Buster, the news, Yankee fans saw it yesterday. The rookie phenom Gleyber Torres heads to the DL. What could his absence mean for the Yankee season going forward?
Well, one thing is, I think among a lot of the teams, when they come out with injuries and they talk about, Aaron Boone said he was mild concern about what's going on. I tend to take that more at face value, just having covered the Yankees for a lot of years, because generally speaking, they treat their injuries very conservatively, because they look at their season and they say, and they make their plans for October. And so if you have an issue in July, they're going to tell you, look, just sit out and then make sure you're 100% before you come back. And I'm sure that's what's going on with Gary Sanchez, and I'm sure that's going on what's going to happen with Gleyber Torres. And here's the thing, Tyler Wade in spring training, he looked great, and they thought he was ready for the big leagues. And so if he gets some of the opportunity to play, then he's certainly someone who can be representative. Brandon Drury, if he winds up being a guy who picks up a lot of the at-bats, he's representative. It's not like they have a big step back. This is not like losing Luis Severino and then wondering who's going to fill those big shoes. They'll be okay without him.
Buster, Brian Mariano filling in for Jeff Levac this week. Yankees Tanaka looked sharp in his AAA outing. He fanned 4. He's looking sharp coming back. What does this mean for Yankee fans and what they might do come the trade deadline?
I don't think it has any impact on it. I think that they are, I know, looking for a starting pitcher right now and having conversations about that. Because let's face it, with Tanaka, given his medical history over the last 3 years, I think they have a lot of confidence when he pitches that he's going to be good. And as he returns to the team, between how competitive he is and how good his stuff is on most days, he's going to be good. But there's also that concern in the back of their minds, I'm sure in the front office, that, boy, we still have to have a safety net in place because we don't know if he's going to be able to stay healthy. We don't know if that elbow will hold up during the course of the year. So they're going back and forth and talking with other teams, and I do think that probably was spurred even more by what they saw from Sonny Gray against the Red Sox last weekend, where, let's face it, there are questions about, is Sonny Gray someone who struggles in New York and can't pitch against really good teams in a big spot, and that's the latest evidence they have. He really just absolutely melted in that first inning.
It's amazing to think that David Price has so much struggles against the Yankees, and Sonny Gray struggles so much at home against anybody, whoever it may be. What is it? Is it mental? Is it physical? A mix of both?
And in fairness to Sonny, I have not asked him that question. But look, as someone who covered the team for a lot of years and witnessed examples of players who just didn't fit in the marketplace and weren't comfortable playing in the market, that's a legitimate question at this point. He has, the second highest ERA in Yankee Stadium of any pitcher ever. That's pretty remarkable when you have an ERA of almost 9 in the home park. In watching him pitch, once he gets into trouble, it feels like he doesn't always start punching back. It feels more like he becomes more conservative. He becomes more careful. He pitches around the edges more, almost afraid to make a mistake. And it's part of the reason why I think every time you hear Aaron Boone do a post-game press conference on one of his Sunday starts, he's always saying, boy, his stuff is great. Wow, and electric stuff. And I almost feel like that when Aaron says that, he's trying to talk directly to Sonny. Like he's trying to remind Sonny, look, your stuff can play. You just have to be aggressive. I was at the stadium the other day when he melted down in that first inning, and after J.D. Martinez got a 2-out hit, it just felt like he just was picking at the edges as opposed to attacking hitters with that stuff. And, he's a great guy, and I hope he figures it out. We have seen examples of guys like Kenny Rogers, Ed Whitson, who just never did.
Buster Olney joining us here on the phone lines on Levac and Goz on 104.5. The team thanks in large part to Tech East Fire and Water Restoration. Your best way back to normal. Visit them online at tefirewater.com. One person we know has become a part of the New York Yankee broadcast. You can hear it right here on 104.5. The team, John Sterling, his 80th birthday yesterday. Buster, do you have any great John Sterling stories for us?
Man, it's actually, I have a lot, but I'll go back to something from last summer. Which I think really reflects on John's personality, because I think if you're a fan of the Red Sox, you're a fan of the Yankees, and you hear the game-ending call, "Oh, Yankees win!" and you think that he's this obnoxious guy. No, he's actually a super nice person who can laugh at himself. As Chip Carey, his longtime partner from the Atlanta Braves broadcasting team, said, he's eccentric. But last summer on my podcast, I invited, because we listened to John's home run calls, and we invited fans from other teams to write out the home run calls as if John Sterling did them. And I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's like, Gene Segura, he is blah, 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 that sort of thing, talking about the Mariners. And we got some great submissions, and I got an idea, knowing John. I'm like, it'd be cool if we pick out, like, the top 10 of the year and then take them to John to do them. And I got to tell you, there are a lot of announcers who would have gone, no way, what are you kidding? But John loved it. Like, he loved the whole thing, and so he threw his heart and soul into the home run calls. And then at the end of each one, I asked him to give me a grade of 1 to 10, and he took that seriously, too.
Buster, from a team that's really going well right now in the Yankees to a team that's not, in the Washington Nationals, below 500 for the first time in almost 3 years. They held a players-only meeting. What is going on with the Nationals right now?
Well, their offense has been terrible. Bryce Harper's at the center of that. I do think he probably takes more of the blame than he's actually responsible for. Daniel Murphy, as he's come back from microfracture knee surgery, has not looked the same, and he just probably needs more time. Adam Eaton, serious ankle and knee injury last summer. He probably needs more time to get back. But on top of that, the part of the team I think we all took for granted all these years has been their rotation. With Steven Strasburg out, with Tanner Rourke struggling, with Gio Gonzalez struggling, that part of the team has just not been the same. And it will be interesting to see how they respond moving forward. I suspect that the front office probably will, they're not going to overreact, and they won't go out and they won't make big trades and try to prop up different parts of the team in the immediate future. But I will tell you this, that because the Nationals are struggling, I think that that's emboldened the front offices of the Braves and the Phillies, who might have thought, this is probably not our year. The Washington's probably the best team. And now when they look at Washington scuffling the way they are, Bryce Harper scuffling the way that he is, absolutely they're going to go out and try to augment their teams before July 31st.
I've done my best over the course of almost the last month to avoid asking this question again, like 3 weeks ago, involving Manny Machado. Buster, I see there's rumors about maybe the Indians as a potential player with Machado. What's the latest on him?
Yeah, and it's a really interesting situation. And I will tell you this, and you as a longtime Orioles fan know that, generally speaking, within the industry, the Orioles have been seen as a model of dysfunction when it comes to trade stuff. And in the last 72 hours, you'll be happy to hear this, I've heard folks from other teams say, wow, like the Orioles are on top of things this year. Like they are being proactive. They are being aggressive. They're having the right conversations. They're doing the right scouting. They're digging into farm systems. They are prepared. So that's a great sign. Here's the bad sign, guys, if you want to turn me off now, because you're not going to want to hear what I'm about to say. It is a terrible market for them to trade him. I get the sense that there are a lot of teams that are saying, yeah, we'd like Manny Machado. Sure, that sounds great. But when it comes to actually coming up with a really good offer, I think that's where potentially they're going to be surprised at how few suitors they have. I think that, and this is just me speculating based on stuff I've heard. I could be completely wrong, but I think the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox, Cleveland, Atlanta, Philadelphia, they're all hanging around the edge saying, you know what, we'll just keep our hand in the game just in case your market collapses so far that you'll have to take 60 cents in the dollar the way that the Rangers did with Yu Darvish last summer, and we'll jump in at the last second, and we'll give you a few pennies for him. I think that's where a lot of the interest is right now. The Diamondbacks, I think, are serious, but the top of their farm system isn't great. And specifically about the Indians, I said I went on radio in Cleveland today, and I said that if the Indians traded big-time assets to get Manny Machado, it would basically be malpractice because they have an 11.5-game lead in the American League Central. If they traded for him, and he's a rental because he's a free agent at year's end, he literally would not have an opportunity to be a difference maker until October. And after you give up big-time assets for him, what? And if you get eliminated in the first round, you paid for 15 plate appearances? Not worth it for them. It's a lot better for them and for the Phillies and for the Braves if they want a third baseman. take one of the less expensive options like Mike Moustakas of the Royals.
Oh, and Buster, now that Goz is completely have his head down.
Shot, I killed him. I know, I ruined his day.
He's so done now. Buster, there was a lot of fireworks going on around the United States yesterday, but there were some fireworks in the Rays dugout yesterday with Carlos Gomez after a strikeout. What is going on there?
Well, I saw that, and I tweeted out a link to the video, which is classic, because he thought he'd been hit by a pitch, and the umpire said no, and then he struck out on the next pitch, and he was just seething with a 198 batting average on his way back to the dugout. It hasn't gone well for him this year, and he just goes off, right? And he takes the bat to the water cooler, and then he hits a couple Gatorade tubs. He does like Paul O'Neill times 2.
Oh, man.
And so many people were responding on Twitter like, that guy needs help. That's, what's wrong with him. And I can tell you, as someone who's been a sideline reporter and seen a lot of games, that sort of thing goes on pretty much every game, except the only difference is that he did it out in the open. There have been games this year, and I think we talked about it on air, so I don't have a problem mentioning to it, not like giving away state secrets. Wilson Contreras of the Cubs flipped his bat into the dugout after a strikeout, walks down the steps, and then I just hear from inside, boom, boom. Taking a bat or something, I don't know. Maybe he let off a nuclear weapon in there, but he was going nuts. That kind of thing goes on all the time. But, Carlos did it out in the open, and that's why he's going to be watching replays of that for the rest of his life.
Buster, your weekend schedule, I know the ESPN side of it, you guys will be releasing the All-Star teams. I know some times moved around for Sunday Night Baseball. What's it look like now?
Yeah, Sunday Night Baseball is at 6 p.m., I believe, Eastern Time, regular, and then Sunday night at 7 o'clock we have the All-Star selection show, which I can't wait for. There's some great decisions to be unveiled. I'm curious as to who's going to be the poor American League shortstop is going to be left off the team. And then we got Sunday Night Baseball. We got the Dodgers and Angels from Anaheim. That'll be great.
Buster, we appreciate your time as always. We'll talk again next week.
Sorry to ruin your week, Goz.